you know that on stage 28 of Kingdom Rush 5, you can find this little guy hanging upside down from a web, just like everyone's favourite friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man? Well, if we click this person, they will first glitch out into the Spider-Man logo, then into a pig referencing Spider-Ham, and finally an ogre from the first Kingdom Rush game. Though, if we wanted to stick with the Spider-Man theme, you could say it might be a nod to the Green Goblin. With the next Spider-Verse movie not due to be released until 2027, this is as close as we're getting to new Spider-Verse content for some time. Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we take a look at some of the latest and not so latest Easter eggs found in video games. As always, if you think you know of an Easter egg, secret or hidden detail that I'm yet to cover, then let me know in the comments, and leaving a like on the video always makes me happy. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with Batman Arkham City. I know, I'm just as surprised as you are. You see, Arkham City is one of the best games ever made, and that means that a lot of people have played the game to death, therefore finding everything there is to find. Well, that may apply to the base game, but what about the DLC? The Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC released 6 months after Arkham City, and features both Batman and Robin as playable characters, as Harley seeks to punish Batman for the ending of Arkham City. It's a cool piece of content, especially as it shows us how Batman is coping after Arkham City, and spoiler alert, he's not doing great. Now, Harley being Harley, she has captured some GCPD officers and is treating them exactly how you'd expect. For example, here we have a cop tied to a chair whilst one of Harley's goons taunts him. I mean, he even threatens to cut off the cop's ear.
Hell, I may torture you first. I'll cut off an ear, maybe both, but I will kill you.
Okay, so that's clue number 1 as to what this is a reference to. The next clue is how the goon dances around the officer.
Don't go passing out on me. The fun's just starting.
So before I go ahead and spoil the fun, do you know what this is a reference to? Well, to me at least, this is a nod to the infamous police torture scene in Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. In the movie, Michael Madsen's character dances around the room whilst a policeman is tied to a chair, before cutting the policeman's ear off and even talking into it, which is brutal. Granted, the iconic music from the movie is missing, but even without the music, this is still a really cool Easter egg. Now, there are certain internet memes that live long in the memory, and you may even find yourself referencing them in your day-to-day life.
These nuts? Got him!
Sometimes a meme is so popular that it gets immortalised forever in the form of a video game Easter egg. And that's exactly what happened with this reference. Air Memories of Old is a game about a woman who can turn into a bird at the drop of a hat. And to be honest, that's all I know. Don't get me wrong, of course I played it, but I spent most of my time just flying through the fluffy looking clouds and admiring the scenery, because it sure is pretty. Now, when you're thrown into the open world, you can fly pretty much wherever you want. But if you head to this location on the map, you can find this. So, on a tiny little sand island, you can find some crabs having a rave. This is of course a reference to the Crab Rave song that released 7 years ago, and at the time of recording has a whopping 383 million views. Air wasn't the first game to reference the popular song, with the best example being found in the Talos Principle 2, where the crabs were extra stylish. Now, despite what some of you might think, the Battlefield series isn't known for its Easter eggs. Okay, so it is, but not at launch. You see, whenever a Battlefield game releases, there usually isn't much to find. It's only when new maps and updates are added that we get the really juicy stuff, like the giant puddle shark we just saw. Still, even though Battlefield 6 is only a few weeks old, there are a couple of cool Easter eggs that you can find right away in the campaign's first level. When the level begins, if you turn around, you can see a dinosaur toy on the table. And if you get close enough, you can do this.
Anyone forget their dinosaur?
So your soldier will take a break from doing soldier things and play with the toy dinosaur. Now, at first, this seems random, but there is a reason behind this dinosaur. You see, the Battlefield series has long had a love affair with dinosaurs, having featured them in the form of Easter eggs in Battlefield 5 and including them in the campaign in Battlefield 3. Given that we've been able to summon giant sharks in previous Battlefield games, fingers crossed that BF6 is the first game that lets us call in a T-Rex for backup. Oh, and in the same room as the dino, you can find this post-it note with a grenade drawn on it, which is a nod to the grenade seen on the front cover of the Battlefield Bad Company games. The other Easter egg that I've noticed in my short time with the campaign can actually be seen in a cutscene. The code used to unlock this safe is 2002, which was the year the very first Battlefield game was released, that being Battlefield 1942. So a lot of you have been calling for the return of the overused video game Easter egg of the week. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The reason it went away is because it would sometimes hold up a video. I knew that I couldn't release an episode of the Easter egg series without an overused Easter egg, so if I didn't have one ready to go, that video would have to be delayed. So whilst it's not officially back, just know that this next Easter egg is definitely an overused video game Easter egg of the week. Emergency Cleanup Company is another game that appeals to the autistic side of my brain, because it lets me make dirty things clean again. Unlike other cleaning games that I've played, in Cleanup Company you are responsible for everything. That includes the hoovering, the polishing, the power washing, and, well, if you can clean it, it's your job. With that in mind, you might think that the locations you'll be cleaning are going to be homes or businesses. But that's not true. On this level, we find ourselves at the beach, and we have to do our bit to help the environment. I mean, the beach itself looks pretty deserted. And you know what we always find at deserted beaches in games? That's right, it's this guy. So it's our old friend Wilson from the Tom Hanks movie, Castaway. And this little guy is the very definition of an overused Easter egg. Now, in the last episode of this series, I said that constantly being reminded of Sucker Punch's past games like Sly Cooper and Infamous is making the wait for a new entry in either of those series even harder. And being constantly reminded of them in the form of Easter eggs really isn't helping. See, I did say that. Well, it turns out that there are even more Infamous references in Ghost of Yotei, which on the one hand is cool, but on the other hand is just a massive tease. First up, at this location on the map, you can find this mural inside of Master Inamoto's house. This is Delson Rowe, the protagonist of Infamous Second Son. At this location on the map, you can find this mural, which is a reference to Abigail Walker from Infamous First Light. Here's the thing, it's cool that Sucker Punch hasn't forgotten the Infamous games, but less murals, more games, please Sucker Punch. Oh, and here's another thing. Sucker Punch doesn't just reference their other games, they also reference themselves. At this location on the map, you can find this. So on this wall you can find the Sucker Punch logo along with several names written in Japanese. Well, if we use Google Lens, we can see that these names are the dev team at Sucker Punch, which is a really nice touch. The final Ghost of Yotei Easter egg is probably the best Easter egg in the entire game. At Matsume Castle, you can take on the Last Brother bounty, which, as the name suggests, sees you hunting down the last of 4 mercenary brothers. When you arrive at the last known location of the brother, you can find 3 graves. One with blue flowers, one with red flowers, and one with purple flowers. Before we can take a closer look, we're interrupted by the 4th brother, and despite telling him that we don't want to fight, he doesn't take no for an answer. Before things get too bloody, you're interrupted by bounty hunters, and after taking them out together, the brother finally accepts that you don't want any trouble. He then goes on to explain that the reason the bounty was placed on his head in the first place was because he was helping people out. So the powers that be decided that he was bad for business and wanted him gone. Hearing this, Atsu decides to let him go, but not before digging a grave so that she can pretend he's dead and claim the bounty. I mean, business is business. Anyway, the flowers on this grave are orange. So that's 4 brothers with 4 colour themed graves. And if it wasn't already obvious, those are orange for Michelangelo, blue for Leonardo, red for Raphael, and purple for Donatello. This whole quest is actually based off the Last Ronin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book series, which saw Michelangelo avenging his fallen brothers. Like I said, this is probably the best Easter egg in the entire game. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. Remember to use my link in the description or scan the QR code to get 10% off your gamer subs. It's a great way to support the channel and you actually get something back in return. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. YouTube seems to think that you'll enjoy the video on screen now, so go ahead and check that out. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.